Hi everyone, it's Elite with another process video, and for this layout I put aside my kits for a little bit. Even though I'm drowning in kits, I just received my July Scraptastic kit, and I'll do a share video. I'm not sure if it'll go up before this one or after, but I'll share that. And yeah, the reason was that I really wanted to play with watercolors. I've been looking a little bit on all kinds of like tutorials and fun stuff on YouTube with watercolors. You really don't need something specific for scrapbooking. You can learn a lot from all kinds of like tutorials made by, real watercolor artists. And there are all kinds of like basic stuff. This is what I did here is super basic and anyone can do it, and you don't need any artistic inclination or gifts or anything. It's like super simple. And yeah, so I saw this one like tutorial, and it was just all kinds of like techniques to use watercolors. With watercolors there's like dry on dry and wet on dry and dry on wet and every combination possible. And I think it's really important to get the results that you want, to know which technique to use. And maybe it's like really trivial, but for me I actually have to like see it to realize what to do, kind of, because I've had pages where I didn't like the results and I wasn't sure why. So maybe it's just me, but what I learned is that I really like the working on dry paper with watercolor. I like the control I have, and I like that the transitions from one color to the other are, you don't get this like paint spreading. That is kind of the look that I don't like. So what I did here, first of all, I created some sort of like grid. I just drew with a paper. I did measure it with a ruler, but it's very inaccurate. And the lines are intentionally kind of more sketchy and not like super straight. I like hand drew them. I didn't use a ruler. And I just drew 9 squares and then fill them up with colors. And you could do like an even wash of color in each square. You could paint them all in the same color. You could do an ombre effect. I wanted kind of 2 colors in each square, and then you get kind of a third color of like where they blend. And you have to think about that when you're choosing which colors to use. So I went for colors that are close on the color wheel, to keep it kind of looking the way I want it to. And I'm using here the Peerless Watercolors, which are just lovely. And I think you can see in the video how bright the color is and how translucent they are, and they're just a pleasure to work with. I have a video on my channel talking a little bit more about Peerless Watercolors, but there are also all kinds of lovely videos on YouTube. So if you're interested, you should definitely search on YouTube. And yeah, and what I did here is the paper was dry, and my brush was wet but not soaking. And then I kind of loaded it well with the color from the paper, from the Peerless like paper. And yeah, and that gave me this really intense color that I could like evenly apply to the area that I wanted. And I kind of kept it dries fairly quickly because I didn't use a lot of water, like at all. And then I added the second color when the first color was dry, because I want this like, like, I don't know, like you would take 2 like cellophane papers and put them over each other, that's the look I wanted. I didn't want it like spreading around the paint like watercolor does in when you use a lot of water. So I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well, but you can see the result that I got, and I actually intended it to look that way. So that's also nice. And yeah, and that was like the most fun part of the video, of the like layout, and also the easiest. Next, I chose a photo, and I'm scrapbooking our trip to France that we took last month in June, and I'm kind of doing it chronologically, which is really nice because it's like one less thing to think about and one less choice to make, kind of. I only have to choose between like 3 or 4 photos, and not between like 200. And I went with this photo of my daughter at the back, sitting in our motor home, and we drove a lot because mommy planned the trip, so we would have to drive a lot. It was just our first trip with a motor home, and yeah, I learned a lot about how to plan the next trip. Hopefully there'll be a next trip. I'm sure there will be. And yeah, so it's kind of like I just wrote how she passed the time. She was really, really good. You know, she's barely 5 years old, and I can't imagine that it's so great for her to sit for hours and hours in a car. But she was good. She watched a lot of videos, and just she had her few favorites. And you know how these children's videos, sometimes the songs are like so catchy, and then you're stuck with these children's songs in your head like all the time. And that's how it was for my husband and me. We were like, nah, we want it out, get out of our heads. But she was having fun, and she also has these books which are really, really, really cool. I really love them. She can't read yet. She can write, actually, and in 2 languages. She's clever, that one. But it's called Tiptoy. I don't know if it exists like outside of Germany and Austria. I assume that it does. But it has like this kind of electronic pen, and you point the pen on parts of the book, and then you have like games and memory games and all kinds of questions you have to answer and noises to recognize. And the books come in different on different subjects. So for example, my daughter has I think one about the forest, and one about the city, and one about the farm. And now for her birthday we bought her one for English, because she's picking it up, and she really loves it, and she's highly, highly motivated because my husband and I speak English, and she gets like really annoyed that she can't understand. So half the time she's trying to learn English, and then the other time she's telling us off that we should speak German. And she is right, because it would really help my German if we spoke German at home. But it's just so difficult. The speaking is the hardest part for me. I can read and understand a lot better and write than I can speak. But this is kind of not the point. And yeah, I'll go back to the layout. It took me a while to finish this page. It's a great way to use up all kinds of little bits and pieces, and I used a variety of things here from a variety of collections. And it's just hard because I'm so anal. Did I say that? I'm not like that in any other area in my life except matching colors on my scrapbook pages. What is that? It's like some sort of very specific problem? No, that's not the word I want to say. Okay. So anyway, so I had to go through like a lot of my embellishments and try to get things to match. And I think I managed to do it kind of to my satisfaction at the end. And Yeah, and I at the end I mounted the layout on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock that came, I think, with a Scraptastic kit. It's kind of like this really dark teal or like bright turquoise or whatever. I still don't know the difference between teal and turquoise. And I think it really makes like all the turquoise in the page pop. Oh, and I also matted the photo on a few layers of pattern paper from the Amy Tan Yes Please collection. It's an older collection. Kind of in my kill mode, I didn't use a lot of product on this page, I would say, but I think I matted it on like 3 or 4 pieces of paper. So that's good to use up some older products. And yeah, and then I fussed with looking for all kinds of little bits and pieces to match. And I think that's all I have to say about this video. Yeah, so thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye. Nope, not done. Still have things to say. I just wanted to say that I used watercolor paper here, but I think it's possible also on this particular page to use regular cardstock because I didn't use a lot of water. So if that's only what you have on hand, or you don't have a 12 by 12 watercolor paper, then I think it would work well also with cardstock. And that's really it. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.